Good afternoon, 104. It's nice to be with you again, a little bit different format than what we're used to, but this is April 6th, so the beginning of our online as we try to finish out the semester here. So the topic for today, as you look in your syllabus, and you also can follow this down in the assignment page and look for the week that says April 6th. For whether you are doing with keyboard or without keyboard, we're talking about key signatures today. So if you would join me on page 72 of your textbook, this is where we have an exercise in key signatures, and that's an exercise that all of you will turn in a written form. So send me a picture once you've completed it. That's going to be your daily grade that we didn't get a chance to do. I believe it was daily grade 4. Again, I've got that all listed in your syllabus for you. But so let's talk a little bit about key signatures. So I'm going to use my small erase board here that I've got to talk about key signatures. So if you think back to when we first started learning our pentachords or our 5-finger positions, and we were doing tonic, whole, whole, half, whole, and we were trying to make sure that we would do or get through all 12 keys, because we wanted to make sure we were comfortable finding all 12 keys. And one way that we practiced it was starting way down here at that low end of the keyboard, and then on that lowest C, and then we went to G, and then we went to D. And if you remember, I called that going around the circle of fifths. So we had C at the top, and then we went to G, which has 1 sharp, D, which has 2 sharps, and then A, which has 3 sharps, E, B. And as we work around our circle here, we get to C sharp, and that's where enharmonically we flip and spell in flat. And it took us to A flat, and E flat, and B flat, and F, and it takes us back to C. I've got a little bit of an oblong there just so that I can fit it in. But this is where key signatures are based from, because what's happening is that we're gradually adding sharps and flats to our hand position. So for instance, the key of C, which tends to be everybody's favorite, has no flats or sharps. And then as we move to G, G has 1 sharp, D had 2 sharps, A has 3 sharps, E has 4 sharps, B has 5 sharps, F sharp has 6 sharps, C sharp has 7 sharps, everything sharp, and then that's where we tend to flip and start spelling in flats. And so D flat is going to have 5 flats, and 4 flats for A flat, 3 flats for E flat, 2 flats for B flat, 1 flat for F. That gets us back to the top of our circle. So when we're looking at a piece and we want to figure out the key signature, because that's going to tell us what tonic is, that is theoretically how we figure out what that key signature is. It's a lot of work to memorize that circle of fifths though, and talk all the way through that circle of fifths. So we're going to talk about some shortcuts that you can use instead. So on my small board here, I've written 2 key signatures. So the first one I've got in treble clef, and it is a key signature of 2 sharps. So if you have a key signature with 2 sharps, there's 2 steps that you're going to do. The first step you're going to do is find the last sharp. And by last sharp, I mean the last one that was added, not the highest on the staff, not the lowest on the staff, but the last one, if you're going like you're reading from left to right on the staff, the last one that was added. If you're looking at a piece that has a lot of sharps, sometimes people find it helpful to tip their book almost to make it look like a tower. But in this case, I can see it would be this one. So I'm going to find that last sharp, and I would suggest, if you have a keyboard or a piano there, find it on your keyboard. So find the letter name of this. I'm on my spaces, so F-A-C. So it's a C sharp that I'm going to find on the piano. This is really important that you find it as a sharp, because this is telling you that it's sharp. From that note that you find, you're going to go up a half step, and the key that you land on is tonic. So I'm going to find that last sharp. I've discovered that it's a C sharp. I'm going to go up half a step. I'm on D, so that's telling me that 2 sharps would be a tonic of D. Look at that theoretical circle of fifths. Key of D has 2 sharps. So it's the exact same answer. I just think it's a little bit shorter to be able to think of it as find your last sharp, find it on the keyboard, go up half a step, then to think all the way through your circle of fifths. It works the exact same way for flats. There's a shortcut, but it's different steps. It's a one step, so it's shorter, but you have to remember that most of the time it's going to have a flat in its name. So if I'm looking at a key signature with flats, you are going to find, let's draw, separate here, find the next to last flat. And that's it. That's tonic. There is no other step. So I'm going to go this time all the way to the end of the string of flats that have been added, and I'm going to back up one. So it's this one right here. I need to find what space that is. I'm in bass clef, so all cars eat. So tonic for this one is going to be E, and here's the tricky spot. You have to remember there's already a flat by that E. So this isn't the key of E, it's the key of E flat. If you again go back to that circle of fifths, you can see that E flat has 3 flats. So memorize your rules for how to find your key signatures. If you are in a key with sharps, you take the last sharp and you go up half a step. If you are in a key with flats, go to the end and back up to that next to last flat. That is the name of the key. Other than F, do you notice how all of these flat key signatures have flat in their name? So let's take a look on page 72 together. Let me help you get going on your assignment here. So I'm on page 72. That first one is the example that we just did on the board together. So now let's take a look at this second one. So I'm sitting in 4 sharps. All right, now whenever you have a piece, they're going to give you the key signature in 2 clefs usually, because we usually have that right hand in treble and that left hand in bass. You do not need to figure it out twice. It's going to match, just like we found with our other pieces. Tonic is always going to be the same that I build from. So you do not need to find that twice. Pick the clef that you're more comfortable with. I'm going to do it in treble clef because that seems to be what more people are comfortable with. So I'm looking at my 4 sharps. I'm going to determine which one is the last sharp. It's this one. Remember that you need to look right through the middle of that accidental, right through the middle of that sharp or the middle of that flat to be able to tell if it's on a line or space. I can see this is on my 4th line. Every good boy does. So I have a D sharp. Find a D sharp on your keyboard or your instrument, or if you're doing this without a keyboard, see if you can print out a 1-octave paper keyboard off online, and that gives you a good place to look at too. Or you can find in your book where you've got some mini pictures of keyboards back where we had the Black Key songs. That would work too. From that D sharp, I'm going to go up half a step. So tonic for this one would be E. I'm going to give you a little hint here. When you get to the last 2 on this line of sharp key signatures, those 2 are going to have sharp in their name when you figure them out. Here's what happens on this next to last one. I've got a sharp on B. B sharp, remember, is an enharmonic, is C. When you go up half a step, that's going to give you that C sharp. So be careful on those 2, they're tricky. Not used a lot. I can think of one instance in our book where we'll have a piece in that key. But it is common when you get into more advanced literature. Let's take a look at one of the flat ones together. Let's take a look at the second one, since again, the one I did on the board already gave you your answer of E flat here. So on your second one, we're going to take a look at those flats. Again, it doesn't matter which you choose to do, they're identical. Let's do the treble clef one. I need to find the next to last flat. So go all the way till the end and back up one. There's the flat I want. Again, look right through the middle of that accidental. Is there a line or is there space there? This is on my 4th line. Every good boy does. So I'm on D, and it's telling me that D is flat. What is the only one in this whole line that's not going to have a flat in its name? This one right here, that third one. There's no next to last flat to find, so my trick is not even going to have to work. It isn't going to work. I'm going to have to think back to my circle of fifths, knowing that one flat was backwards 5, or down circle of 5, C, B, A, G, F. F has one flat. It happens to be a B flat. We've played in that position before. It doesn't have an F in it, a flat in its name. Why is there not a flat in its name? Check out your F space or your F line. There's no flat there. So our shortcuts that we're learning here today, sharps, find the last sharp, up half a step gives you tonic, next to last flat gives you tonic. They work for all of your keys except for F. This one you need to just memorize, that one flat is going to give you the key of F. So for your daily grade assignment, if you take a look at page 72 and work through those 12 key signatures, there's 12 key signatures because we have 12 hand positions that music can be written in. Take a look at those 12 key signatures and figure them out. Send me a picture of that. You could also just send me an email listing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, what the answers are if that's easier for you. Either way, that's going to count them for that daily grade 4. So if key signatures aren't making sense and you want a more detailed explanation or you want to hear this again, shoot me an email. Let's FaceTime, let's Zoom, and we can talk about it in person. Otherwise, I'm hoping this explanation will help you get started.